Hey everyone, welcome to Clever Casa Chronicles. My name is John and I'm going to show you how to set up the ESP32 KORVO Development Board by Expressive Systems. In order to get this to work, I'm using a code that I found on GitHub by the user PBNJ. I've added the link in the description to the page where you can copy the exact code I used to flash onto the ESP board. To get started, we're going to have to go into ESPHOME and Home Assistant. Once you're in ESPHOME, select New Device at the bottom of the screen. It will ask you to name the device and then select which ESP board you're using. Select ESP32 and it'll give you the encryption key. You don't need this yet, so just click Skip. Next, go into your edit window. You'll see the encryption key and the OTA password. Copy these somewhere either on a notepad or sticky note on your computer so that you can paste them into the code later. Make sure you include the quotes. Once you have that saved, we're going to go back into the edit window, select all of the code, and delete it. Then you're going to go to the link that I provided, copy the entire code, and then paste that into the edit window. Once you've pasted the code into the editing window, there's just a couple things that you have to change. Make sure you change the name of the device in the editing window to the name that you've provided for your new device in ESPHOME. Next, you're going to copy the encryption key and the OTA password. Make sure that you leave this space after the colon for each. Also, make sure that you include the quotes. Once that's done and all the credentials are in, now you're going to click Save. Then on the top right, click Install. Choose Manual Mode. The code's going to compile and it's going to take a few minutes, but once it's done, it's going to ask what mode you want to use to install. Click Modern. At this point, you're ready to install the code. So go back into web.esphome.io, plug your ESP32 into the computer using the UART port on the board, and then plug your other USB cable into the USB port on the board labeled Power, and plug the other end into either a 5-volt adapter or a power-only port on a powered USB hub. Next, you're going to click Connect. You should see an option in your ports with UART as part of the name. Click this one. Then you're going to click Install. You'll be asked to choose the file, so go to the code you manually downloaded and click that one. Then hold the boot button on your ESP32 board and click Install, holding the boot button until you see Erasing, then let go. This will run for a couple minutes, but once it's done, just go back into ESPHOME and Home Assistant and check the logs to see if you have a connection. You may get an error at this point once it's done compiling and installing the code, and it might say no API connection. That's because we've not set up the integration yet. In the logs, just take note of the IP address because you may need it to integrate the assistant. To integrate it, go into the settings in Home Assistant and navigate to Devices and Integrations. You should see the newly configured ESP32 board at the top of the integrations. If you do, then click Configure. If you don't see the same ESP device that you wish to integrate, then just click Ignore. Then Add Integration. Search for ESPHOME, and then once asked, input the IP address into the host field and leave the port number alone. Then go back into either another window or in the notepad you saved your credentials in and copy the encryption key. Remember the quotes. Then click Submit. Go into your new devices page and make sure you select the proper pipeline. In my case, I'm using Whisper for my speech-to-text and Piper for my text-to-speech. Once you click the right pipeline, your new voice assistant using the ESP32 KORVO should now be working. Go back into the logs and check to see that the microphone is streaming. If so, give it a try. If everything works on the first try, then sit back and enjoy your new assistant. If you have any errors, double check your code and either reinstall it or simply reboot your board using the switch. If you found this video to be helpful in setting up your own ESP32 voice assistant, hit that like button, and if you'd love to see more, click the subscribe button. I have so many cool ideas that I have for home automations that I would love to share with you. If you have anything you'd like to see or need any help with, feel free to leave a comment down below. I hope you all have a great day, and as always, stay clever.